Welcome to i-TUTOR Economics NCERT series. We were studying chapter 8 and we had covered till the topic SARC. And today we are going to deal with a very new topic, Association of Southeast Asian Nations or ASEAN. So, ASEAN was established on 8 August 1967 in a place called Bangkok, Thailand. Do you know who are the founding members of ASEAN? Yes, Indonesia, Malaysia, Philippines, Singapore and Thailand. Later, Brunei, Vietnam, Laos, Myanmar and Cambodia also joined. Brunei joined in 1984, Vietnam in 1995, Laos in 1997, Myanmar 1997 and Cambodia 1999. Total there are 10 member countries. Okay, now there are some dialogue partners also. Who are they? China, Japan, India, South Korea, New Zealand and Australia. So these nations engage in economic and strategic discussions with ASEAN. And what are the objectives of ASEAN? Yes, I'll tell you the objectives one by one. So first, to promote economic growth, social progress and cultural development in the region. Then, to maintain regional peace and stability. To encourage collaboration and mutual assistance on matters of common interest. And to establish a free trade area. Free trade area means that is FTA, by reducing tariff and non-tariff barriers. So these are the objectives of ASEAN. And now what about the organizational structure of ASEAN? ASEAN Summit of the Heads of Government of member countries is the highest form of ASEAN cooperation and is the highest decision-making body, and it is attended by heads of government of member state, and it is held once in 3 years. Remember that it is held once in 3 years. An ASEAN ministerial meeting, that is AMM, is the next highest decision-making body, and it comprises of foreign ministers of member countries. Now what about the relationship of India with ASEAN? So India became a sectoral dialogue partner in 1992 and later a full dialogue partner in 1996. And geographical proximity allows India to trade faster with lower freeze cost. India's partnership with ASEAN aligns with Act East policy. Okay, Act East policy. And cooperation extended to trade, connectivity, counter-terrorism, maritime security and culture. Okay, now let's look at the objectives of ASEAN. So the ASEAN Declaration, that is the Bangkok Declaration in 1967, clearly outlines the aims and purposes of the association. These objectives focus on economic growth, peace and regional cooperation among Southeast Asian nations. Okay, let's look at the objectives one by one. First, to accelerate the economic growth, social progress and cultural development in the region. So ASEAN aims to speed up economic growth, social progress and cultural development in the region. This ensures that all member countries grow together in harmony and prosperity. And the second objective is to promote regional peace and stability and adherence to the principles of the United Nations Charter. What does this mean? Yes, ASEAN promotes peace, security and stability in Southeast Asia. Members commit to resolving disputes peacefully and following the principles of the UN Charter, such as respect for sovereignty and non-interference. And the third one, to promote cooperation among the members of ASEAN through the exchange of knowledge and experience in the field of public sector auditing. Do you know what does this mean? Yes, members work together by sharing experiences and best practices, especially in areas like public administration, governance and auditing. This helps in improving the efficiency of government institutions. Okay. Fourth objective is to provide a conducive environment and facilities for research, training and education among the members. That is, ASEAN encourages research and training by creating opportunities for joint educational programs and capacity building among member countries. This develops skilled manpower and mutual understanding. And the fifth objective is to serve as a center of information and as an ASEAN link with the international organization. That is, ASEAN functions as a hub of information and acts as a bridge between Southeast Asia and other global organizations. It helps in maintaining strong links with the United Nations, World Bank, and other regional bodies. So these are the objectives of ASEAN. Now, what about the functions of this organization? The Association of Southeast Asian nations, so the ASEAN, plays a vital role in promoting economic integration, trade cooperation, and regional stability among its member countries. Let's look at its major function one by one. So first function is it facilitates free movement of goods, services, and investments within ASEAN by creating a single regional market like the European Union. That means ASEAN works to facilitate the free movement of goods, services, and investments among member nations. Its goal is to form a single regional market similar to the European Union, where trade happens freely without barriers. For example, a company from Thailand can easily export its product to Malaysia or Singapore without facing high tariff. Okay. The second function is it provides free access to the marketers of one member countries to the marketers of all other member countries, thus fostering growth in the region. That means ASEAN ensures that marketers from one member country can access the markets of all other member countries. This expands trade opportunities and helps industries grow across borders. For example, Vietnamese products can find markets in Indonesia and the Philippines and beyond. Okay. And the third function is that it improves business competitiveness between businesses from different countries and also narrow developmental gaps between member countries. That is, ASEAN helps in improving business competitiveness among firms from different countries. It also works to narrow the development gap between richer members like Singapore and poorer ones like Laos or Myanmar. This promotes balanced regional development. And the fourth function is that it paves way for market and investment opportunities for the member nations. ASEAN provides a platform for foreign and regional investments, opening up new businesses and employment opportunities for member countries. This increases overall prosperity and regional cooperation. And the fifth one, it fosters cooperations in many areas, including industry and trade. ASEAN fosters mutual cooperation in multiple fields like industry, trade, tourism, technology, and education. It encourages countries to work together for shared progress and peace. Okay. So all ASEAN economies experienced a major economic crisis in 1997, known as an Asian financial crisis. Despite this setback, ASEAN continued to strengthen its cooperation and launched new mechanisms for financial stability and mutual support. So here we learned about ASEAN. And what is the full form of ASEAN? Association of Southeast Asian Nations, and it was formed in 8 August 1967 in Bangkok. And we have told about the members associated with ASEAN and objectives also. Finally, we discussed about the functions of ASEAN. Now we are moving to the next topic, that is BRICS. Okay, BRICS is an acronym that stands for Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. It represents 5 major emerging economies that play a significant role in shaping global economic and political trends. Originally, it started as BRIC. Okay, as BRIC when only 4 countries, that is Brazil, Russia, India, and China, were part of it. And in 2010, South Africa joined and became BRICS. and its headquarters is in Shanghai, that is in China. Headquarters is in Shanghai, that is in China. And now let's look at the background and origin of this BRIC. The term BRIC was coined in 2001 by Jim O'Neill, an economist at Goldman Sachs. His idea was simple. These four countries had fast-growing economies that could reshape the global balance of power. Later, they decided to form an official group, meeting annually to discuss global issues, trade and development. And do you know what were the important summits of BRICS? First BRICS summit were held in Moscow, Russia in 2009. Then South Africa joined in 2010 and it became BRICS. And the 10th BRICS summit was held in Johannesburg, South Africa in 2018. And India hosted the 4th summit in 2012 and 8th summit in 2016. And the main agenda of 2018 Johannesburg summit where the focus was on inclusive growth, that is ensuring that economic development benefits everyone. Then trade issues, that is promoting fair and balanced global trade. Then global governance, reforming institutions like the UN and IMF to reflect modern realities. Then shared prosperity, that is cooperation in science, technology and education. Then peace and security, that means promoting stability among nations. So the focus was on inclusive growth, trade issues, global governance, shared prosperity and peace and security. Okay. Now, what about New Development Bank? Do you know about NDB? A major achievement of BRICS is the creation of the New Development Bank, earlier called the BRICS Development Bank. It was established to finance infrastructure and sustainable development projects in member countries and other emerging economies. And its headquarters was also in Shanghai, China. And the purpose was to reduce dependence on the Western financial institutions like the World Bank and IMF. Now, why BRICS matters? It represents over 40% of world's population and it accounts for around 25% of global GDP. And it serves as a voice of developing nations in world politics and economics. Okay, so this is about BRICS. So let's read it line by line. BRICS is an acronym for an association of 5 major emerging national economies: Brazil, Russia, India, China and South Africa. Originally, the first 4 were grouped as BRIC before the induction of South Africa in 2010. The term BRIC was coined in 2001 and the BRICS members are known for their significant influence on regional affairs. Since 2009, the BRICS nations have met annually at formal summits. South Africa hosted the 10th BRICS Summit in July 2018. The agenda for BRICS Summit 2018 includes inclusive growth, trade issues, global governance, shared prosperity, international peace and security. Its headquarters is at Shanghai, China. The New Development Bank, formerly referred to as BRICS Development Bank, was established by BRICS states. The first BRICS summit was held at Moscow and South Africa, hosted the 10th conference at Johannesburg in July 2018. India had an opportunity of hosting 4th and 8th summit in 2012 and 2016 respectively. Now let's look at the objectives of BRICS. BRICS was formed with a vision to build strong cooperation among emerging economies and to create a fairer global economic order. So let's look at the major objectives one by one. First, to increase trade cooperation by making an exclusive trade bloc. That is, BRICS aims to strengthen trade and economic ties among its member nations by forming an exclusive trade bloc. This helps the member countries trade more with each other instead of depending too much on Western markets. For example, India importing machinery from China or exporting pharmaceuticals to Brazil, all within BRICS. Okay. Then, second objective, to use currency other than US dollar. Since US dollar is a dominant currency and US can control the flow of dollar, BRICS help in the countries operating with alternative currencies. Since the US dollar dominates global trade and finance, the United States indirectly has a lot of control over world markets. To overcome this, BRICS promote using other currencies like Indian rupee, Chinese yuan, or local currencies for mutual trade. However, this goal has only been partially achieved so far. The dollar is still dominant in global trade. And the third objective is to increase regional cooperation. BRICS encourages cooperation among its members in multiple fields like economy, technology, science, environment, and culture to achieve shared growth and stability. For example, joint projects in renewable energy or digital innovation among member countries. And the fourth objective is to create a separate trade bloc made by developing countries for trade cooperation. BRICS serves as a platform for developing and emerging countries to express their views collectively. It acts as a counterbalance to Western dominated institutions like the IMF and World Bank, promoting fairer representation for the global South. Now let's look at the functions of BRICS. Before that, please look at this few facts about the BRICS. The BRICS countries make up 21% of global trade. We already told it. And they have increased their share of global GDP threefold in the past 15 years. And the BRICS are home to 43% of world population. The BRICS countries have combined foreign reserves of an estimated $4.4 trillion. Okay, now functions of BRICS. BRICS doesn't just focus on trade, it plays a major, wider global role in politics, economics, and diplomacy. So let's go through each function step by step. It acts as a promoter of more legitimate international system and also advocating reforms of the UN Security Council. That is, BRICS work together to make global system more democratic and representative. It calls for reforms in institutions like the UN Security Council, IMF, and World Bank so that developing countries get more voice in decision making. For example, India and Brazil demand permanent seats in the US Security Council with BRICS support. And the second function, this group of nations is especially meant for South-South framework for cooperation. BRICS mainly represents the global South, developing countries of Asia, Africa, and Latin America. It promotes mutual support, sharing of technology, and developing experiences among these countries without depending on the West. For example, India providing training to African nations under BRICS cooperation programs. Then, it performs as an agent to bridge the increasing gap between developed and developing countries. For instance, in the WTO, the BRICS countries are emphasizing to promote a fair order regarding agricultural policies. That is, BRICS acts as a mediator between the rich countries like USA and EU and the poorer nations. It ensures that the interests of developing nations are protected in international negotiations, especially in trade and agriculture under the WTO. For example, BRICS oppose unfair subsidies given by developed countries to their farmers. And it performs a commendable contribution for assisting developing countries in gaining in areas such as an advantage in trade and climate change negotiations. BRICS helps developing countries to have a stronger position in climate change, trade, and developmental discussions. For example, BRICS countries often speak together in climate summits like COP meetings for fair responsibility sharing between rich and poor countries. Then, it disseminates information and exchange platform beyond economic cooperation. BRICS is not just about business. It also promotes cooperation in areas like education, culture, science, health, technology, and people-to-people exchange. For example, BRICS University League and BRICS Youth Forum encourage academic and cultural exchange. And the sixth one, it acts as a catalyst in protecting the interest of middle powers on global forum. BRICS acts as a collective voice for mid-level powers, countries that are not superpowers but have strong regional influence like India, Brazil, and South Africa. It helps them stand united on global forums and protect their national interest. Okay, and over the years, BRICS has emerged as an important global force, not just in economic cooperation but also in reshaping world governance. So let's look at its major achievements step by step. The establishment of contingent reserve arrangement has further deepened and consolidated the partnership of its members in the economic financial area. That means the new development bank was set up during the 6th BRICS summit in 2014 held in Brazil, and it became operational in 2015 with headquarters at Shanghai, China. And the bank aims to mobilize resources for infrastructure and sustainable development projects in BRICS and other developing nations. It is often seen as an alternative to the World Bank and IMF, which are dominated by the Western powers. For example, NDB has funded renewable energy projects in India and transportation projects in South Africa. And in the sixth BRICS summit in Brazil, the member countries signed an agreement to create a development bank, that is a new development bank with headquarters at Shanghai, China in 2015 on the lines of Asian Development Banks and the World Bank. That is CRA, that is Contingent Reserve Arrangement. CRA is like a financial safety net for BRICS countries to deal with balance of payment or currency crisis. It helps member countries to stabilize their economies during times of financial instability. This strengthens economic financial partnership among BRICS members. For example, if a BRIC country faces a sudden fall in its currency value, CRA can offer emergency fund to help. And the third one, increasing goal in global governance. What does this mean? BRIC countries are demanding reform of global institutions like UN, IMF and World Bank to reflect current global realities. Together, BRICS represent 43% of world population and nearly 21% of global GDP, giving it a strong voice in shaping world policies. They are influencing discussions on climate change, trade, development and international peace. For example, BRICS often takes a common stand in G20 and UN forums to promote multipolar world orders. And then another function of BRIC is that it enhances economic and strategic cooperation. That is, BRICS has expanded cooperation in science, health, technology, education and digital economy. It encourages trade in local currencies, aiming to reduce dependence on the US dollar. The bloc has also discussed the idea of a common BRICS payment system for cross-border payments. And the final function is that promoting South-South cooperation. That is, BRICS has strengthened cooperation among developing nations of Global South. It acts as a platform for knowledge sharing and joint initiatives, especially in areas like sustainable development, poverty reduction and innovation. So this is all about the achievements of BRICS. Now we are moving to the summary part. This chapter on International Economic Organization highlights the vital role of global financial and trade institutions in promoting international economic stability and cooperation. It explains the role of International Monetary Fund in resolving balance of payment crisis, providing credit facilities and maintaining exchange rate stability through its financial, regulatory and consultative functions. The chapter also discusses the World Bank and the World Trade Organizations, their objectives, functions and major achievements. Special emphasis is given to WTO agreements such as TRIPS. TRIPS means trade related aspects of intellectual property rights. Then TRIMS, that is trade related investment measures. Then GATS, General Agreement on Trade in Services. Then AAO, that is Agreement on Trade, Agreement on Agriculture, and MFA, Multi-Fiber Agreement. So in the final section, the chapter covers regional economic integration through major trade blocs such as SAARC, ASEAN and BRICS, highlighting their objectives, functions and key achievements in fostering regional cooperation, trade and development. So this is all about this chapter. Hope you understand. Thanks for watching. For more related contents, do like, share and subscribe.